for your review and this next month. The animal birth control clinic. So they increased their ask this year to that 125,000. You had questions about what the city was contributing to ABC. And so what we found out, they currently and have for some years now, their budget is 166,000. Theirs is a little bit different than ours. So what's happening there is they budget, and then they have an agreement with, of course, with ABC, and they're being billed per instance per surgery and microchip. And so they've budgeted 166 for a while, but from what I gathered, it's just a flat rate that has been sufficient to cover the amount that's billed to them monthly. So they have not adjusted that for a while, but it's, again, just based on how many instances they are actually billing for.
So that's a little different than our arrangement where we're just giving them flat money to do whatever they
To cover the areas outside outside the incorporated cities, yes, sir. So with the 125,000, it's just down at the bottom of perfect. That section there. She says that, to reach the areas in need, this would cover over 1,500 animals. They would receive spay, neuter, and microchip. And that the 19,000, the past funding level, is exhausted within 3 months, usually. Economic Development Department. The Sports Commission asked for an increase in funding of $30,000, so this would increase to 130 from our previous 100,000. You had asked about the city of Waco and what they had funded and what they planned on funding. They have always contributed 75,000, and of course their budget is not adopted yet either, but the plan is that they would continue the $75,000 level of funding into next year. Stay on our timeline. Those letters need to go out from the judge's office today. So I just wanted to just come back here and just make sure, that we all knew what those ending numbers look like. Everyone has received a COLA on this list. So the right side is just what our fiscal year 22 elected official salaries look like. Some of the judges are, the COLA doesn't apply to them because those numbers are set a different way. But the ones that are highlighted in yellow, those were the amounts that Anna spoke on and recommended moving those up to a certain level. And then, of course, the COLA is added on top of that. So I just wanted to just make sure that we were all still, agreeable to those amounts, just because those letters do need to go out today. And we hadn't really
The
looked at.
adjustments came in the highlighted yellow,
Yes, sir.
and that was due to the fact that they were out of our criterion.
Yes. Yes. So you brought those up.
Between now and the final adoption, which is August the 24th, we will come back and talk about the disposition of any of the funds that are over and above the policy of our unassigned fund balance policy of 33%, and how we, if we choose to apply any of those towards things. And one of the, one item was on our retirement debt. It looks like there's about a little over $90,000. For every $1 million we pay down on that debt, there's a little over 90,000 and some change.
Correct. So
Savings that goes up over time if salaries are adjusted up.
That's correct. So yeah, those paying in $1 million or whatever the amount may be is going to affect of course, you're going to be out that cash for the year to pay down that debt, but then it's going to affect your retirement rate also.
Right.
So.
And the cash position that we're in because of the rate environment.
So we have received, of course, the certified values and then the new calculations of the tax rate. We'll share our screen here. This updated spreadsheet is, of course, on the budget workshop drive today, unfortunately. But that one is just one that's there. We've had questions, and we can always adjust as more information comes in.
Good.
The other ones that we'll need to come back to in this department are the MHMR contracts. And of course, those those will come in for your review in this next month. The animal birth control clinic. So they increased their ask this year to that 125,000. You had questions about what the city was contributing to ABC. And so what we have found out, they currently and have for some years now, their budget is 166.
You in charge, hey?
We recording?
Recording in progress.
Good morning. Today's Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. It's 9 a.m.
Sorry, sir, I don't have any sound just yet, I'm sorry. One
Okay. Well, that was just a rehearsal. anyway.
That was really good.
You ready? Good morning. Today's Tuesday, December 7th, 2021 at 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 at 4:35 PM.
Okay, at this time, we'll have a moment of silence, and then we'll be led in both pledges by Steve Hernandez.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, sir.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't at least recognize today's significant, being Pearl Harbor Day and remembrance of that day and lives lost and men and women who fought to defend us, not only during that time, but also since then. We recognize that very significant day in the history of our country.
Absolutely. And anyone in this room that served, we appreciate your service, and we do owe a lot of gratitude and our freedoms to that. So thank you for pointing that out, sir. At this time, do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move down to item D on proclamation and resolutions. We have a resolution in support of the nomination of the Texas Conference of Urban Counties Policy Committee. Commissioner Jones?
So last year, I was asked that a vacancy came on the policy committee, and I filled that vacancy. And I'm going to, I've decided that I would like to serve again if elected. So this is the nomination that officially recognizes my candidacy as for the policy committee. I would encourage the commissioners to come to College Station. I believe it's January the Thursday, January 13th, for the vote. If I can get, they're sending out information. It's during the annual conference. Yeah, I believe it's the 13th. And I just encourage y'all to come down if you can and vote for me. If not, we can take your proxy and we can have somebody use your proxy.
Okay.
I think that's important that we all do that, so I
I do
appreciate you
too.
pointing the date out, and it's important for us to, we've talked before about being proactive instead of reactive government here in the county, and this is part of what we're talking about, so I need a motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion?
I would just say that I think it helps to strengthen the court when we have members that serve on state committees. And so I just appreciate Commissioner Jones taking on the additional responsibilities. And we're going to be in College Station if I can get Latronda to drive.
Thank you for the comments. So that's, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move down to the consent agenda at this time. I show two pulls today, E3A and E3B. Does anyone else have a item they'd like pulled for discussion? If not, I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda, except E3A and E3B.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, Dustin, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Ready to head down to M8, Commissioner?
We are, sir. Let's, if we could, there's a public hearing on M8, A, and B.
So M8 is regarding the establishment of a regulatory traffic sign on Stanky Road in Precinct 2. M8A is a public hearing on the proposed regulatory traffic sign. So Commissioner, we need to hold a public hearing for the purpose of hearing from interested members of the public in connection with the establishing of a stop sign on Stanky Road at intersection with Pavelka Drive.
Okay. At this time, we will begin a public hearing. Do we have anyone here to speak to this matter? Obviously, we don't. So, public hearing is closed at this time. We'll move down to item M8B, consideration and interaction to approve regulatory traffic sign on Stanky Road in Precinct 2.
And at this time, I would ask that our county engineer, Zane Dunham, come and give us some background and also his recommendation.
Thank you. Good morning, Zane.
Good morning, Commissioner and Commissioners Court. This intersection has been reviewed for signage purposes as well as for accident reports. The County Sheriff's Department has, as well as the City of Waco Police Department, has provided reporting that there's not been any accidents in the past 5 years with regard to the alignment of the four legs of the intersection. There was one accident where a person dropped their cell phone while driving and ran off into the bar ditch. But otherwise, the intersection has not had any reported accidents. The intersection is a little oddly arranged. There's a curve going on Pavelka Drive to the north. Stanky Road runs east and west. And then going to the south is Old Mart Lake Road. There is presently a stop sign on Old Mart Lake Road. There's a yield sign on both the west leg and north leg of the intersection, but there's no signage on the east leg of Stanky Road. And after considering the way it's signed and the accident history, would be my recommendation that we put cautionary signs on the east leg of the Stanky Road that indicate that need to slow down. There's a curve, need to minimize speed to no more than 35 miles per hour, and that the curve blocks the view from Stanky going to Pavelka. So, and this is the picture of how I would recommend the signage be put 200 feet back from the intersection. It should be noted that this leg of Stanky is the only leg of roadway that is under the jurisdiction of the county. The other three legs are within the purview of the city of Hallsburg. It's in their jurisdiction. So it would be not my recommendation for a stop sign, but rather at this time, cautionary caution sign with the two signage noted there.
And I would like to thank Zane. We have been working on this one intersection since August. And the city of Hallsburg contacted us and asked if we could put some signage out there. And so Zane and Judge Felton and Ronnie, the foreman, have been really diligent and looking at it from all points, and me, looking at it from all sides. And the fact that this is the only part of the intersection that is actually under the county's purview, I would accept the engineer's recommendation. If you can see those trees, the dangerous thing about this intersection is that cars are coming from the right and there's a yield sign, so they come at a steady speed. Sometimes they slow down, sometimes they don't. So the danger comes when you come from our side and you make a left turn. So we're gonna put some cautionary signs to let them know that that's a blind corner, and do everything we can. But at this time, that would be a stop sign on the other side of a yield sign, and I think that would be confusing. And so we're gonna go with, I'm suggesting that we take the recommendation of the engineer's office. We're gonna monitor that intersection and put up all the precautionary signs that we can.
Sounds good. Any questions? Commissioner, you mind making a motion?
Okay. Then it would be my motion to not approve a regulatory traffic sign on Stanky Road in Precinct 2 at that intersection, and to take the recommendation of the county engineer.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Zane.
Thank you.
That's item M10 regarding the establishment of a regulatory traffic sign on Ashland Drive in Precinct 4. M10A is a public hearing on the proposed regulatory traffic sign. So we'll need to hold a public hearing for the purpose of hearing from interested members of the public in connection with the establishment of a stop sign on Ashland Drive at the intersection of Spiegel Road.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we'll begin, open a public hearing with regards to a stop sign on Ashland Drive. And we have no one here to speak to that, so we'll close the public hearing at this time. Zane, do you have any comments with regards to this?
Commissioner, I believe there should have been a sign there established a while back. This was, I think, just an oversight, so we're looking to establish a regulatory stop sign at this intersection.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions, comments? If not, I'll make the motion to approve the stop sign on Ashland Drive at the intersection of Spiegel Road.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I'd like to go to item M1, discussion and or action on matters regarding COVID-19. I'd like to call on Ryan Durker for a quick update.
Commissioners, good morning. Real quick brief out this morning, not a whole lot going on. Our regional infusion center that was located at TSTC concluded its business on 11/29, and it saw a total of 771 patients that came through that facility while it was operating. The public health district still has vaccine clinics going on both at the public health district and throughout the community, as well as testing sites available, run through mostly private businesses that all can be found on covidwaco.com.
Okay.
And that's what I have.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay. And it doesn't appear that this will require action this morning. Dustin, am I correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the next item, please.
All right, item M12 regarding the McLennan County tax abatement guidelines. M12A is a public hearing on proposed readoption of tax abatement guidelines by the Commissioners Court. We will need to hold a public hearing for the purpose of hearing from the public on the readoption of the McLennan County tax abatement guidelines.
Okay, and we do have Mike Dixon this morning with us as well to speak to this, but first thing is, we'll go ahead at this time, we'll open the public hearing for the TERS in the McGregor area. So the public hearing's open. Is anyone here to speak to it?
No,
Nope. Are you,
County Pro Tem.
stop it.
Yeah,
Readopt.
this is to readopt our tax amendment, tax abatement guidelines, because.
I'm sorry, Mike, I
They're,
took down one. I'm sorry.
Okay,
So Mike's right. Let's back up to M12A, which is the public hearing on the proposed readoption of the tax abatement guidelines by the Commissioners Court. Before we do that, Judge did say that there might be discussion that we'll need to do later to consider maybe changing some guidelines, but for today, the purpose is just to hold the public hearing and to approve it as it is, so we can come back at a later date for discussion. So
yes, and the reason for that is that they're up. I mean, we have to approve them every 2 years. And it's time, and if we don't approve them, then we really can't vote on some other things on this agenda, so we need to approve them,
Okay.
readopt them.
All right, sir, thank you. So we'll open the public hearing at this time for the proposed readoption of tax abatement guidelines by the Commissioners Court. Is there anyone to speak? There's no one here to speak for that, so we'll close the public hearing at this time. I'd need a motion to readopt the tax abatement guidelines by the Commissioners Court.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. Let's call for the vote.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Judge Pro Tem Carey.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, I'd like to now go to item H3, authorization of interlocal agreement with City of McGregor and McLennan County Community College District for participation in tax increment reinvestment zone number 1. I believe Mike and Chris Collins are going to go over this, and we have representatives from McGregor both in the courtroom and online as well, in case there are any questions. So Mike or Chris, whoever wants to start.
Well, you know, Chris likes to talk more, Mike.
Well, thanks, Mike. And Merry Christmas to you too.
Well, all right.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you very much for having us today. I actually will turn it over to our McGregor friends, but just to say that this tool, the tax increment reinvestment zone, is really important. We've used it a number of times throughout the county. The city of Waco, Lorena, Robinson, to help create dollars for infrastructure investments, and given the level of activity that McGregor is seeing within the McGregor Industrial Park, utilization of this tool is essential in supporting the businesses that are committed to coming into that community, as well as establishing a great level of infrastructure to support new businesses beyond these coming in for the future. So I'll turn it over to Craig and Andrew.
Well, hold on a minute. I'll go ahead and talk now.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, you know, a TERS is a reinvestment zone, but it's just for tax increment financing. So just to make sure everybody understands, there's a base year, and that's 2021. And whatever the value of the property is on 2021, that's the base. Now, let's say how you figure it is, let's say we're in 2025, we take the taxable value minus the base year value, and that's your tax increment. And then on that tax increment, the taxes generated by that value, the county is participating by providing 90% of their share of the tax increment back to the TERS for the infrastructure improvements. This is a little bit different than other TERS we've had, in that we already have a very large business that needs some of this infrastructure to move in, but is committed to moving in. And we have a couple of others that are waiting to see the outcome of the infrastructure for this particular business to determine whether they want to come in and seem like good prospects. So we still get taxes for the base year value and 10% of the increased value. But it's a long period, and but it has to be in order to continue to create infrastructure to draw in business.
Y'all will borrow money to facilitate the infrastructure build out, correct?
Correct.
And when will that take place?
Next Monday night.
Oh, really? Wow.
The
Okay.
start of the process.
Okay.
Start the process and then it'll be about.
After the
Right
first
after
board
first.
meeting of the TERS.
I think the actual date of sale is what, February?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
council's announcing the intent.
Oh, I have it right here.
Right, okay.
And real quickly, just in case there are other questions, would you two please identify yourself just for the record?
Thank you. My name is Craig Farmer, and I'm working with the firm of Patty Knutson and Associates out of Houston as a consultant.
Thank you.
I'm Andrew Smith. I'm the Executive Director for McGregor's Economic Development Corporation.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions?
If I might, I have a little bit of a presentation if you want it. We made a big presentation last time in quite a bit of detail, and then you have everything in your packet. So again, there's 8,172 developable acres. The three projects are 901 acres. Rodeo is probably the most important of them, which I think everybody knows now is an international insulation
Yeah,
company.
we can say it. I mean, it's public, Knauf Insulation.
Yeah, they told me it was top secret and I couldn't say anything. Anyway, basically, there's over 300 jobs involved in this and about 152 million of salaries over the next 10 years. So it's a critical process. They need all kinds of infrastructure, including rail, just for that project. So the first debt sale will be certificates of obligation for about 15.7 million if the college district and the county participate. And so with that, the version you have in the packet has been heavily scrutinized by every attorney I could think of. And Mr. Dixon actually pointed out a problem. It did not make it into your packet one. We corrected it on Thursday, but the signature ones do. So on page 7, item 4D is your paragraph where you reconcile, basically it's when the first payment takes place. Instead of it saying calendar year 2021, it should say calendar year 2022. And then there's another one in the college part that's same change. So there's 4 places where it's supposed to say calendar year 2022. But subject to that, if the commissioners are inclined to approve this, we would recommend approval subject to that one change, as per the attorneys. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I think the growth that we've seen in the entire county is continuing to thrive. This TERS process will actually help streamline that process and ultimately, especially for the McGregor Industrial Park, this is property that is owned by the city that currently is not taxed. So anything that comes in ultimately puts funds not from the citizen taxpayers, but from the industrial partners into this fund. And I think it's a good deal all the way around for the city and the county as well. In case you don't know, we work very closely with Chris and her team on a lot of different projects. And so this has kind of been a giant team effort to get these prospects here. And this is kind of the final step that will ultimately kind of see the goal through to getting this started.
Thank you. Can y'all jump to the map? I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask any other questions.
Can y'all jump to the map and maybe explain some of these different
Sure.
areas?
In the interlocal agreement, that should be the
That one
second to the
Sure.
last page. That's it right there.
Yeah, so everything that's in the bold area is
With the hash marks.
with the hash marks, with the yellow, that is all the McGregor Industrial Park that's located within McLennan County. And so that's been identified as the TERS boundary. It was originally.
The black line?
Correct.
The heavy border, yes, sir.
The heavy border, the bolded line. So it was originally scheduled just to be the Knauf site, but looking at it further and understanding the growth potential for the park, as well as the future infrastructure needs to support that growth, it became clear that we needed to expand that to incorporate the entire park in order to be able to service future infrastructure needs for that area.
The colored out parcel is actually outside the city limits, so the TERS can't participate. If they're ever annexed, then they would have to bring the interlocal back to y'all to approve the expansion to cover that. So that would be an amendment that y'all would have to vote on.
Thank you.
One other thing is, this is currently land held by the city of McGregor. So right now, I don't think you're earning taxes on it anyway. Is that right?
Correct.
There are parcels that are owned privately as well, and so there is some generation for those existing.
Right. But every private business we bring onto this adds taxable property.
Correct.
SpaceX in this?
Yes,
area?
SpaceX's property is included in that, and while they lease the property, the land itself from McGregor and some facilities, the construction that they bring with them becomes new real property on the tax rolls.
Their ultimate expansion, I believe, could be almost 4,000 acres. Is that correct?
So they already encompass over 4,000 acres in their existing lease.
And
This parcel that we're looking at here, right here, is 8,000 acres?
8,172, yes, sir.
Okay.
We amended the plan a little bit to include some roads, so we can improve some roads in the area.
Any other questions,
It-
comments?
It's essentially just the whole industrial park.
If no other questions or comments, I'll accept a motion to authorize the interlocal agreement with the City of McGregor and McLennan County Community College to participate in the tax increment reinvestment zone. TERS number 1, this would be to include the corrections pointed out by our attorney Mike Dixon on page 7.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I do have signature copies here. We actually are on the agenda tonight at the college, and if we get them signed sometime today, it'd be great, and we can take it, get them signed, and we'll take them to the council Monday next week, and it'll be done.
I think we do that as soon as court's over. Am I right, Dustin?
Yes, sir. We can get them signed. We'll have to get them attested to by the county clerk, but we'll do that as soon as we can.
And also the attorney.
And then we'll work with you on getting it back to you so you have it for tonight's
Yeah,
meeting.
if, 'cause
Okay.
if Judge has to be the one to sign, then we'll need to wait until he gets back in town.
Right, right, just depending on what it said, on who.
Correct.
And Mike can,
Yeah.
Mike, do you have any advice or any guidance on this?
You could go back to it and have the commissioners vote that the Judge Pro Tem can sign the document. I think you can sign it anyway,
I do too.
because it's your responsibility when he's out, but,
Yeah, quit trying to think out of it.
We're rolling with Mike's opinion on
All
that
right.
there, so
Yeah.
we'll get this done as soon as we get out of court. And Reagan, I'm sure we'll get with you guys and we'll get it done in a timely manner and get it back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, very much. Look forward to this project getting off the ground.
All right, and Chris, while you're there, we can go to your monthly report. So item M3 is Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report for October 2021.
Thank you, Dustin. In your packet, you have our full level of activity for the month of October. Was definitely a busy month for us. When we compare that to 2020, the level of attraction inquiries, we're up over 20% of where we were this same time last year. It's been a busy year for us all across McLennan County, which has been good. That means that everybody has the opportunity to benefit there. The level of plans that have been submitted and proposals, just to give you an idea, we had by the end of October of last year, we had sent out 57 proposals. This year, we've sent out 78. So the level of activity continues to grow. And, it takes time for these projects to move down the line. So it may be that we submit a proposal in October. We might not hear something back from them until December or January, depending on how their world is evolving. And to give you an idea, we worked with a project recently that started out with 14 states under consideration. They asked for proposals from those 14 states. They ended up getting proposals from 13 of the 14 states because one one opted out, but they had over 80 proposals in front of them to look at. And so it takes time just to go through the process of evaluation to say, these qualify, these don't, and then narrowing further down to say, we're really interested in these. So we did a site visit where they were at 80. By the time they got to us and came around, they were at 15 sites. So still a lot of due diligence on the back end from the company and the consultants to go through that process. So it's oftentimes it's a game of patience, continuing to follow up and try to be at the front of the line as much as you can without being annoying at the same time too. So on the on-site attraction inquiries, we're pretty close to where we were this same time last year. So 88 this year compared to 84. Business retention visits, we're at 67% of our goal. And so you understand, we've had to do a lot of back and forth where, we'll be face-to-face or we'll have to be hybrid, just depending on where companies are and what's happening in the world of COVID and all those things. So we've really tried to pivot as much as we can and be flexible for the businesses. But one of the things that we've found as we're making these outreach, that companies are appreciative of the outreach, but they're so overwhelmed in trying to do their daily business that they've just said, we want to visit with you. We just don't have the time and the staff to take away from our daily operations just for this. And so we're just making sure that they understand that that we're here, that we're a resource. If they have any issues, if they have opportunities, that we want to be there and we're available at the end of the phone to help them. So I think that right now that's probably the most meaningful thing that we can do. We're going to continue to push and make ourselves available to businesses. But I wanted you to know, we're normally trying to get to 100 visits a year. That's just been a little bit challenging this last 2 years. Business development events, we get this start and stop of events coming. So we're at 19, whereas last year we were at 16 the same time in 2020. But combined, when you look at the overall level of projects that are in the pipeline, we have 33 different projects at various stop and start points. 11 of those are expansions and 22 are attraction projects. Collectively, these would represent over 13,000 new jobs into the marketplace if all of them hit. They won't all hit, but we know that there is an increased interest in Central Texas and an increased interest in the greater Waco area. We are getting calls regularly from companies or from developers that are interested in property so that they can bring different types of businesses, whether those are industrial or commercial or even residential opportunities into the marketplace. So we know that there's a lot of interest in our area, and we're excited about it. We just want to make sure that we're putting people in the right place, and that we have the infrastructure that we need to support that future growth too. When we look at where the community sits as far as economic activity, and we do this report on a monthly basis with the Waco Trib and First National Bank of Central Texas related to the Greater Waco Economic Index report. We hit an all-time high for the month of September, and that number was 141.9. To put that into context, right before the pandemic hit in February of 2020, we hit our all-time high there, which was 132. So we've not only recovered, we are now exceeding where we were in the 2020 world. We don't really like to compare 2020 to 2021 when it comes to the economic world. So we look at the 2019 numbers to give us a better baseline of, are we really in a recovery mode? And the answer is yes. Sales tax collections, retail sales are up. Housing continues to be really strong in our market. Commercial permits are up. We're up 120% over where we were the third quarter of 2020, but we were starting to see some activity in that world too. Unemployment continues to come down for us. All of the indicators, hotel spending is up 135% over where it was in the third quarter of 2020. And we were starting to see some recovery at the end of 2020. Things were starting to open back up, but that means that people are coming into the community, they're spending dollars here. Those are all really good things. So we see those as positive signs. We did have a project announcement at the very beginning of November, actually, which was Capstone Mechanical's expansion. And thank you for your support through the Economic Development Corporation for that. $5.1 million project, 30,000 square foot expansion of their existing facility on Imperial, and 68 new jobs on top of the 167 that they have already in their employment. The last thing that I would just mention is that we are in the midst of our biannual wage and fringe benefits survey, and that is where we ask the private employers to answer questions and provide us with information that is very confidential. We don't actually know what information is associated with what employer, but we're partnering with Baylor University on this survey and would strongly just encourage any employer that's out there to participate. They do get a copy of the report as a part of that. And then on a bigger scale, we're working in partnership with our Central Texas partners, so Belton, Killeen, Temple, Harker Heights, for a larger Central Texas region. So they're using the same wage and fringe benefit survey, just customized with their community names in it, and that information will be aggregated into a Central Texas report. So we'll have 2 reports available to those employers, one that is specific to McLennan County employers and one that they can compare themselves to other employers across the Central Texas region. And that's important because it helps them to stay competitive. It helps give them the information that they can take to their corporate folks to say, we really need to be more in line with what's happening within our own community in order to be competitive for labor. But it also is the opportunity to show, hey, we're an employer of choice and we're doing a good job here. So there's lots of ways in which they can use that. It gives us a good snapshot of how employers perceive certain assets within the community as well, so that we can communicate. So are they utilizing TSTC and MCC? Are they taking advantage of training opportunities for their incumbent and new workers coming in, so that we can communicate that information to those partners as well? So it's helpful all the way around, but we would strongly encourage any employer to take advantage of it. The link's on our website, but if you have any questions or know of employers that should be participating, just direct them over to us and we'll get them in the system.
Questions?
What do you think so what was that time frame you gave on the hotel spending?
That was the third quarter of 2020 versus the third quarter of 2020.
So a lot of that probably attributed to Baylor having home football game. I mean, having full attendance at home football games.
Some of it. I mean, you think about though, they do 6 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have that really open to the public last year.
Yeah.
But if you think about just the level of activity, Magnolia had celebration. We had the triathlon with Ironman.
We didn't have, that was canceled.
We did not have that last year. So, just the level of activity, people coming back into the market that haven't been here in a long time. So but a lot of business travel is coming back too, at least because of the level of activity that we have around new construction and stuff. So you're seeing people that are coming in both for leisure and for business-related travel.
Obviously, you guys are busy at the chamber.
We're busy. I think everybody's busy. You look at all of our partners; they're all scrambling to make sure that they're keeping up. So.
Well, it's exciting times.
Absolutely.
County. Any other questions or comments?
Well, just a comment. I wanted to thank the chamber for helping with, there's going to be a Connect job fair this Thursday at the Multipurpose Center, and several of the WIMDEC employers are going to be there. We're going to have Amazon, Hello Bello, L3 Technologies, vendors of that magnitude, and they're going to do a one-stop shop, meaning that people need to come dressed for success with their resume, because they're going to take applications, do interviews, and hiring. And for everything that you guys did working with Workforce, I just want to tell Chris, they do a whole lot of things behind the scenes that we don't see. But I wanted to thank you all for that.
Thank you, ma'am. We're happy to be a part of
Thanks
that.
for bringing that up. Okay. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll need a motion to approve her report.
So move.
Second? I'll second. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank y'all. Have a
Good
great
day,
day.
ma'am.
Thank you, Chris.
Dustin, do we want to go ahead and go to M6 since we still have Mike?
Yes, sir, that would be great.
All right.
So M6 is approval of order changing certain county election precincts to comply with voter population limit of the Texas Election Code. I'll give a quick overview and then we have Mike and Jared online and we can help answer any questions about this. But section 42.006 of the Texas Election Code requires that county election precincts may not contain more than 5,000 registered voters. Jared had pointed out to us that we had 3 election precincts that exceeded that amount. So we worked with Professor Morrison, Mike, Jared, myself, and Professor Morrison worked together on this. These changes do not affect any commissioner, JP, constable, or legislative districts, precincts, or boundaries. And they're simply to move registered voters from one county election precinct to another within the same official boundaries. So Mike or Jared, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, just that it really has definitely has no effect in our county because we're a vote center county. So it doesn't change where they're going to go to vote or anything like that. We're a vote center county, so they can vote anywhere. It's really just a house cleaning change to meet that statutory requirement that probably shouldn't even apply to a vote center county.
Jared, do you have any comments?
No, I think they covered it. I mean, I agree. It's not going to change anything for our voters other than we just want to make sure that we're in compliance with the election code.
Fantastic. And we appreciate you guys working with Mr. Morrison on this to get this accomplished. Do we have any questions or comments from the court?
So did the party chairs review this?
Yes, I sent it to both party chairs. I did not get any comments back from either of them.
The only change is on your voter registration card. There'll be a different voting precinct number, but you'll still vote wherever you want to vote.
Wherever you want to vote.
Very true.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Got it.
Okay.
It also won't change who they vote for because it's still in the same
Right.
area.
Right, exactly.
Same
True.
commissioners and.
So if no other questions or comments, we need a motion to approve the order changing the county election precincts to comply with voter population limits of the Texas Election Code.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Judge Pro Tem Perry.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
All right,
Do
Dustin.
you want me to go off the clock, Ben?
Yeah, get on somebody else's.
Okay, bye.
Hewitt needs you.
Well, I'm still thinking about it.
All right, if we could go to item H9, this is authorization of lease agreement with Texas Department of Motor Vehicles for registration and title system workstation. I'd like to call on Kathy Holloman.
She on? Is she
Yes.
on? There she is.
I am. Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Right. These are Texas Department of Motor Vehicle terminals, workstations. And one is for the new phone position that you approved in the budget for this year so that they can provide great customer service and answer questions when people call in about their registration or maybe some title issues that come up. And the second one is for me. We're working on improving our quality assurance piece of the department, and it will allow me to look at trends and pull reports and work on improving that within our department. And those items were both budgeted for this year.
Okay. Any questions for Kathy? If not, I need a motion to accept.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right, moving back up to those items pulled from the consent agenda under item E3, Human Resources. E3A is a matter for the county sheriff. Anna?
Thank you, Dustin. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have the Sheriff's Office requesting approval to adjust the part-time hourly rate for position 868. It's currently being paid at $10 an hour, and they'd like to increase that to $15 an hour. This hourly part-time position is responsible for all of the time entry for the Sheriff's Office, and the person in that role has actually been doing that for about a decade. So they thought it was time to go ahead and increase that hourly rate again from $10 to $15 an hour for position 868. This request is budget neutral. They're not requesting additional funds in that part-time line item. You can take any questions if you'd like.
And this does come as a recommendation from your office.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is a recommendation.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the request?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move down to item E3B at this time, HR matter for Road and Bridge Precinct 2. Anna?
Yes, this item, here we have Commissioner Miller requesting approval to reclassify a current equipment operator position. It's position number 1504 to an equipment operator senior position. Its current pay grade is a B7, and the request is to bring it to the pay grade of all senior equipment operators, which is a B8. The current budget, which is the budget for all equipment operators, $49,948. So this would be a request to increase that budget line item to the budget that all senior equipment operators hold, which is $53,896. Again, reclassification from B7 to B8. The person in this position actually does perform senior equipment operator duties and has the experience and qualifications needed for the B8 level senior equipment operator position. I can take any questions at this time.
Questions or comments?
Any questions?
And again, the authority, or your approval from your office is given?
Yes, sir. So the person qualifies for the position. They're currently performing those duties. So a B8 senior level position would be appropriate for the person.
Okay, thank you. Need a motion to
You're
approve?
welcome.
So move.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dustin?
Thank you.
Moving on to item F, budget and budget amendments. I'd like to call on Francis.
Morning, Francis.
Good morning. So starting with F1A, this should be our last budget amendment to clean up fiscal year 2021. So it is an all-inclusive budget amendment. I'll go over briefly what hit some of the highlights of it, and please ask me if you'd like any other information about it. The first part is for bilingual pay. So bilingual pay is budgeted in one countywide line item, and then we spread that to each department at year end. So this is taking care of that matter. Below that is adjustments that need to happen to personnel lines. You'll see in there that there are many adjustments to longevity. And so kind of this along those same lines, if there's adjustments that need to happen, we wait and clean those up at year end. There are some line items there related to actual salary line items. And as you know, that we added County Court at Law 3 this year. So we did not do any budget amendments at the time for the personnel lines. We wanted to wait and see how those numbers fell. And so we, of course, know what those are now. So we're cleaning those line items up, as well as there's a large amount that's needed for Jack Harwell Detention Center. And again, there were positions that were added mid-year. There was a large number that you added and approved that would allow them to accommodate more prisoners, to house more federal prisoners. Again, didn't know what the timeline would be on filling those. So we chose to wait and clean this line item up at year end as well. And then there's sometimes adjustments that need to happen for accruals depending on someone's work schedule. So that is the highlights of that section. And then the last section is other operating line items. The first two, dispatch services and emergency management, those are related to the timing of invoices. Those are both based on contracts. And if you look between the last 2 years, we did pay what we needed to per contract, but it's just the timing and then when we accrue those amounts. Trying to see. And then there's some cleanups and other services and charges, repair and maintenance, supplies. Those are some line items. Several of those are ones that we have been charging COVID-related expenses to. And so again, year end, we moved a lot of those to the ARP grant fund. And so then this was what was remaining that needed to be cleaned up. So any questions on those, please let me know. I know that's a lot of information in that one amendment.
Anyone have a question?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't think anyone does.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. With that being said, then I'll accept a motion for F1A to approve the budget amendments, to close out 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead, Francis.
And then following up with F2, these are 2022 budget amendments. So F2A is an amendment to increase the line item for the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce. The increase is $50,000 and is coming from the general fund contingencies. And this is related to the item you approved on the last agenda for the digital talent recruitment campaign. And then F2B is within the IT department in the general fund. They're requesting to move funds from the IT assessments line into their other services and charges. This is related to an increase that was not expected for the Amazon cloud storage expense. And I believe there's another item on the agenda where Lisa will give you some more information on this as well.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for either F2A or F2B? If not, I need a motion to accept both of those agenda items.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll
Item-
move. Go ahead, Dustin. I'm sorry.
Under item G, bids, RFPs, RFQs, G1 is authorization of recommendation for bid 21-014, McLennan County Low Water Crossing Construction Road and Bridge Precinct 4. Ken?
Yes, sir. We received 5 responses to this bid. We received a bid from Meckel Contracting for $83,030. A bid from Bear Creek Construction for $173,500. A bid from BlackRock Construction for $431,700. I'm sorry, I messed that up. $431,744. A bid from LC Paving for $162,750, and a bid from HCS Inc. for $249,600. We recommend that McLennan County grant the award for low water crossing construction road and bridge precinct 4 to Meckel Contracting with the low bid of $83,030.
Okay, and Ken, my only question, has Zane also reviewed this with you and looked at it?
Yes. We both kind of worked on this, checking references and so forth. And I believe Zane even called and talked to Meckel on this. But Zane's joined us right here, so.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. I did speak with Scott Meckel, and he's reaffirmed that he can do the work at that price in that amount of time, and that he is still going to make a profit. So I have no reservations to award the project to Meckel Construction.
That's a huge discrepancy.
So what is the, I mean, do we have an explanation for the high bid being 431,000 and then the low bid being 83,000. I mean,
Well, from my review of the bids, it appears that the very highest one, they really just threw a number at it. I don't think they, if I remember correctly, I don't believe they attended the pre-bid meeting on site. I don't even, by their comments and the way they bid, I don't even think they really looked at the plans. Other people just have a different idea of how much profit they want to make.
And of course, they were out of Mansfield, which that had some distance to it. So they're probably including stay in the area.
And Ken, they've got all the work they want probably just in that area. So you're right. They just threw a number out.
Yes.
Because I can't imagine them not being busy in that Mansfield, Texas area.
Right.
No doubt.
Again, we had our reservations and we tried to do our due diligence in checking it out. And like I say, I think Zane talked to them and they said that they had profit in the amount that they bid.
I'm glad.
Okay.
Looking at the others.
just don't want any surprises.
I got you.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you too for your due diligence on that.
Or not use enough concrete.
Oh, you wanted concrete. I need a motion at this time to authorize the bid for the low water crossing construction in Road and Bridge Precinct 4 to Meckel Contracting LLC out of West.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item G2, authorization of crime policy proposal for McLennan County and district judges and tax assessor collector. This is an annual policy we enter into. The policy total is $2,203, and as stated, it's the crime policy for the county and district judges and the tax assessor collector.
Okay, anyone have any questions with regards to this crime policy?
What is a crime policy?
It basically covers any fraudulent activities that could occur within the office and some outside. But it's a broad policy.
So if somebody God forbid, somebody in the office defrauded some way or another, this would pay for that?
Yes, sir. It's part of the coverage. Okay, if we don't have any additional questions or comments, I need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under item H, contracts, interlocal agreements, H1 is authorization of interlocal cooperative agreement with the city of Galinda for road patching and tree trimming. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, sir. We got the paperwork back from Galinda. I think we had deferred this previously, and they're just needing some work done in the road areas that in McLennan County. So we would ask the court to approve this authorization of the interlocal cooperative agreement with the city of Galinda.
And that's in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
All right. We have
Second.
Have a motion and have a second. Have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H2, authorization of maintenance and support agreement with DataWorks Plus LLC, the County Sheriff Mugshot System. This is a renewal of that maintenance and support agreement with DataWorks. It totals $11,330.90, which was the same as last year, and will run through December 31st, 2022. And I believe David Ives is on in case there are any additional questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H4 is authorization of contract for services with Creative Waco. As we've talked about the last couple of court sessions, we're starting to put together agreements with all the entities that the county provides funding to. This does nothing to the funding level. It was already approved at that $55,000, and it just lays out what services they are to provide. Also put some reporting requirements on Creative Waco to the county as well. So we just need a motion to approve that contract.
Motion to approve the contract with Creative Waco.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
H5 is authorization of interlocal cooperative agreement with Lorena Independent School District for routine road maintenance. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, sir. Again, as we had with Galinda, as Lorena finds the need they're asking for this interlocal agreement to be approved so that as the need arises, they can ask us to help them with work, and the amount will not exceed $3,000 for any problems that might arise.
Okay. Questions or comments? Need a motion?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H6 is authorization of agreement for reimbursement for mental health counseling services with Heart of Texas Council of Governments for juvenile probation. This is the annual agreement we enter into with HotCog. HotCog receives a grant through the governor's office that allows us to be reimbursed for counseling services at juvenile. And the total amount for that reimbursement this year is $15,553.18. And this runs through August 31st of 2022.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, I need a motion to approve.
Move to approve H6.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H7 is authorization of equipment agreement and preventative maintenance inspection agreement with Cummins Allison Corp. For a currency counter for the tax office. This is a purchase agreement in the amount of $2,248.10 for a currency counter, and then also the maintenance agreement, which totals $356 annually.
Any questions or comments? Need a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
What budget would this, where would this be? I know it's less than 5,000, so it's not.
Out of
It would just, that would show up in furniture and equipment in the
Furniture
tax.
and equipment, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H8 is authorization of a business associate agreement with Med Impact Healthcare Services. This is the business associate agreement with Med Impact to implement regulations and requirements of HIPAA, and Med Impact administers the pharmacy benefits program for Indigent Health.
Do we have any questions or comments? Can I get a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H10 is authorization of memorandum of understanding with Conley Independent School District for collaborative partnership for learning enrichment and internship. I'd like to call on Major Armstrong.
Dustin, this is David Ives. I think that I don't see the major on, so I can speak to this. This is a program that we're trying to enter into with Conley Independent School District for an intern program, much like the other one that we have with La Vega. It's been a good program for us so far, and we would just like the court to approve this so we can continue to expand the internship program to other organizations within the county.
Okay. And it certainly is a great program, David. I appreciate you guys moving forward with this. So any other
Yes, sir.
questions or comments? Hearing none, I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
H11 regarding the current McLennan County Inmate Medical Health Services Agreement with Core Health, authorization of annual renewal and consumer price index increase. David, did you want to speak to this one as well?
Sure. This is just the contract that we're doing with Core Health. They've been providing health services for us at the jail facilities for several years, and we're very happy with their service. The CPI this year is 3%, and that increase is going to equate into, merit raises for their employees and increase in costs and their liabilities and other issues that come up throughout the year. We would like to continue using their services as we're happy with the services they provided us.
And I think if any of y'all have visited with Major Armstrong or anyone else out at the jail, these guys are doing an incredible job. So I concur, and I'm glad you guys are recommending that we move forward with them again this year. So any other questions or comments? If not, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under H12, authorization of technical support, full support agreements with BIS Digital Incorporated. We have 3 of these, and if the court's okay with it, we can take them all at one time. H12A is regarding Commissioners Court audio video recording system. This is the agreement with BIS for the recording system for the Commissioners Courtroom, and it totals $1,969, and the term of the agreement is for 1 year. H12B is regarding the 54th District Court audio video recording system. This agreement totals $1,253. And H12C is regarding County Court at Law audio visual recording system. This agreement totals $1,253 as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have questions?
This is what we currently use, right, Dustin?
Yes, sir. It's what we currently use, and these are the support agreements for those for an additional year.
If no other questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion to approve H12A, H12B, and H12C.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under item I, capital improvement, repair, and construction projects, I1 is regarding capital improvement projects for the Cameron Park Zoo, agreement with the city of Waco. We have 2 under here. I1A is authorization of invoice number 17706 for the Hoofstock Barn, and I1B is authorization of invoice number 17707 for the Education Center and Veterinary Hospital. Francis, did you want to cover these?
No, I think, like you said, they're pretty simple and straight to the point, and they are reimbursement requests from the city for each of those projects that Dustin mentioned.
Okay, and Dustin, we want to go ahead and cover the next one since it's.
Yes, sir. So we can do I1A and I1B together.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions with regards to I1A or I1B?
This is from our bond?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to
And this
approve
is-
I1A and I1B.
Second.
Motion is second. Dustin, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and it is per the terms of our interlocal agreement. It spells out that reimbursement process. So this is in line with the interlocal.
Okay, thanks for interjecting that. So I have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I2 is regarding the Bill Lowe Juvenile Detention ADA renovations, bid 20-005. I2A is authorization of certificate of substantial completion, and I2B is recording of Mitchell Construction Company Incorporated warranty letter. TJ?
Good morning. So this is just some finalizing of paperwork that was missed at the end of the original construction project. So we just need to get this down for court recording. Just to make the court aware, we did our 1-year walkthrough of the facility to finalize this portion of it last week. There were 2 items noted that the contractor has went ahead and corrected. So everything's in order and we recommend approval.
Questions for TJ? If not, I need a motion to approve 12A and 12, or I2A and I2B.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under item K, grant proposals, K1s regarding the U.S. Department of Treasury Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund American Rescue Plan Act. In your packet, you'll see that we have the ARPA funds received by each city located in the county. I know this was requested before, and we are working with BKD to package 3, 4, or 5 of the nonprofit type requests, and hopefully have those on the agenda for December 21st for the court's consideration. So, but Commissioner, there no action needed here, but happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Yeah, will part of BKD's responsibility be not just to say, yes, these fall within the guidelines, but will they rank these or recommend approval on any of these that based on what they know from the submittals and so forth? Or are they simply just saying, yes, these conform to the guidelines?
Commissioner, the way I understand it, they are simply just saying yes or no whether they do fit within the guidelines.
Okay. And so we'll, I'm assuming these projects will be coming before the court soon, the ones that they've already signed off on saying they fall within the guidelines.
Yes, and that we hope to bring some of those forward on the next agenda, and then it would be a commissioner's court decision to fund or to not fund, or to what level to fund some of those requests.
Okay. Any other questions for Dustin before we move on? Okay, Dustin.
All right, under K1A, authorization of American Rescue Plan budget adjustment. Francis?
Yes, sir. So this, and I know you've already seen this now a few times, so it'll start looking more familiar, but this is what we'll bring to you each time that you, like you were just talking about approving a project. As soon as you approve a project or give us the okay that you are wanting to use the funds for a certain purpose, we'll continue to update this, and it's going to serve as the budget that we'll use to work through the projects. So on this one specifically, if you look at the very top, the blue section will show you there the amount that is unallocated and that you haven't spoken or approved something for that amount as of yet. Today, we're adjusting that amount by a little over 123,000, and then that leaves that 42.5 million that you can still fund projects with. So then moving down the detail of that 123,000, you'll see there that it is some cleaning cost, PP&E, and then cost related to the use of the base, and then the cost related to using our nurses that are on staff at the correctional facilities for COVID testing. So we have adjusted those project lines by those amounts, and we'll keep moving forward, and we'll keep you updated on this as you approve things.
I certainly like the way you're presenting this. Very easy to read and follow.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'll need a motion to authorize the American Rescue Plan Act budget adjustments.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
K1B is regarding the professional consulting contract with Lockwood, Andrews and Newnham Incorporated, authorization of professional services invoice. And this is an authorization of an invoice from Land totaling $5,010.28 for professional services through November 21st of 2021.
Questions?
Dustin, do we have any idea when they, what their time frame is as far as the projects that they're renewing for the water infrastructure and things like that?
Tom should be ready to bring us a report soon. Judge and I met with him last Tuesday after court and went through what he'd worked on. We've had a few more come in the past couple of weeks that he's having to get the questionnaires out and back from, but I'll visit with Tom and see if we can't do an update on the 21st from him.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the invoice from LAN.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
K1C is regarding the professional services agreement with BKD LLP, authorization of grant administration services through September, invoice from BKD totaling $4,445 for those grant administration services related to ARPA through the end of September.
And again, I appreciate the presentation with this, actually breaking down the individual involved in the hours work, so that's good work. Anyone have a question or a comment?
I would just say similar to what Commissioner Jones raised on the land invoice, without being detailed and specific, because they are going to come to court and give us detailed reports, but could we get maybe an activity update from these guys, especially prior to the submission of an invoice that kind of just says, we're working on this, we're working on this, just maybe even bullet points.
Is that Dustin?
Yes, sir. I believe we can do that. We'll visit with Danny at BKD about that.
And is there a master list of requests? Like a total?
There is.
Yes. Okay.
And it's on one of the shared drives, Commissioner.
Okay, I remember that now. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and then Reagan's updating it as we get new info in as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments?
I'd move to approve K1C.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under K2, regarding U.S. Department of Treasury Emergency Rental Assistance Program, K2A is authorization of reimbursement requests reports from the city of Waco. There's a billing in your packet from the city totaling $243,401.99 for the month of October. And Francis, did you have anything to add to it?
I do not, but just a reminder, their contract with the county ran out October 31st. So I believe this should be the last reimbursement from the city.
Are you able to audit that at all?
We are.
Okay.
So when they, we're doing, there's monthly and quarterly reports for both ERA 1 and 2. And there's a lot of information that must be submitted, information on the eligibility of the applicants and the participants in the program, as well as demographic information and other pieces of statistical information that the Treasury is wanting. So we get all of that from either the city or from EOAC now. And then our grant auditor is reviewing that and, making sure that everything looks to be in line and that all the information is together for any audits that occur in the future.
Okay,
Great.
need a motion to approve K2A.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, motion to approve. Or excuse me, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
K2B is regarding the program administration agreement with Economic Opportunities Advancement Corporation, authorization of addendum for ERA 1. And back in September, we approved that agreement with EOAC for the administration of ERA 1. Since then, the Treasury has extended those dates for the ERA 1 program through September 30th, 2022. And so this addendum just extends the date of the agreement with EOAC to match the termination of ERA 1 with the Treasury.
Questions?
Well, I just would like to say one thing, and I'm sure the city, used all of its tools at its disposal to get the marketing out about the program. But yesterday, I was coming out of the beauty shop, and I heard a voice behind me, and going into, it's a hub of beauty shops and barber shops, and there was Miss Johnson with a handful of flyers on our ERA program, and I thought, she is working.
Good.
So they are getting it out at the level that we really needed them to.
Out, hitting the pavement.
Yes, exactly, literally.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Need a motion to approve K2B.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
K3 is regarding the Bureau of Reclamation Water Smart Grant, short form of agreement for professional services with Lockwood, Andrews, and Newton Incorporated. K3A is authorization of professional service invoice number 1. It totals $3,150, and it's for services related to the Water Smart Grant through October 1st, 2021. And then K3B is authorization of professional service invoice number 2. This is an invoice from Land totaling $5,580 for services related to the Water Smart Grant, and it ran through November the 12th, 2021. And we have reviewed these, and they are okay to pay.
Okay. Any questions for K3A or K3B?
Motion to approve K3A and K3B.
Second. Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A4 is regarding the statewide automated victim notification service, SAVINS maintenance grant, authorization of signing responsibility for county verification of continuing production record. And this would just change the signing responsibility from David Johnson to David Ives.
Okay, anyone have any questions?
Motion to approve giving David Ives the county signing responsibility.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under item L, Department Office Specific Request, L1's Constable Precinct 4, authorization of cell phone request.
Yes, Charlie, the previous Constable used his personal cell phone. Charlie has hired a new person and doesn't have a cell phone from the past. And so he's requesting a cell phone for a new hire.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think L2A is being pulled. Dustin?
Commissioner, I'm not certain if it's being pulled or if we just, I know
Just
Judge would
defer?
like to discuss it further, if we could defer it.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to defer?
So, second.
Have a motion and a second to defer. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And L2B is authorization of cell phone request for Constable Precinct 1.
Yes, sir. Walt has a new position in Constable 1's office, and they didn't have all the equipment to cover that new person, so he's requesting a county cell phone for a new position.
Okay, and this does say they have the funds available in their budget?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, it does.
Okay.
I like that statement.
Any questions or comments? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
L3, information technology, discussion and or action regarding Amazon Web Service cloud storage. Lisa?
Yes, hello, everyone. This was related to the budget amendment request that I had that has already been passed. Do I still need to speak on this?
Not unless someone has a question or a comment.
The only thing I'd say, I understand y'all are still exploring some other means that would be just as effective, but maybe less costly. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Sadly, Backblaze did not work out for us, so we are still actively looking at other solutions that will both meet our security requirements and hopefully be more cost effective.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve L3?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Under item M, additional items for discussion and potential action. M2 is discussion regarding healthcare plan audit and related engagement agreement with Messier 42 LLC. I believe the recommendation is to defer this again.
Motion to defer.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
M4, authorization of order accepting monetary donation for Food for Families food drive under local government code section 81.032. Francis? And it's just an approval of an order for a donation totaling $400 from Linebarger for the Food for Families food drive.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you. I just had for Chrissy, how did we do this year?
We did really well.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I don't have my numbers in front of me, but we ended up raising about 5,000 items and about $2,000 worth of cash to
wow.
go towards Food for Families and Caritas.
Excellent.
So we did better than we've done in the past this year.
Okay, you always do a great job,
Well, thank you.
but you didn't give me pictures this year. I need pictures each year. Okay. But thank you.
She was
Thank
busy
you.
working. So we do thank you, and for everybody in the county that participated, we thank you as well. That's something that we do very well. And I'm very proud of our employees and Chrissy for making that happen. So anyhow, we have M4 to approve.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
M5, tax increment reinvestment zone number 1 East, City of Lorena and McLennan County 381 area, recording of semi-annual report for January 2021 to June 2021. And just as it states in the title, this is just recording of that TERS semi-annual report.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
M7, approval of order accepting certain property donated by the Texas Department of Public Safety under Local Government Code, Section 81.032. Ken?
Yes, per our normal process, when we receive radar back from DPS, we generally transfer those back to the radio shop. So this is just an order documenting we got the radars back, and that's kind of where they'll reside until the court determines different.
Okay.
I have one question. When it says in the notes they're returning them because they're at the end of their useful service, so would we turn around and use these again?
I think that's a question that needs to be discussed.
Yes.
Oh,
they-
oh,
I
okay,
think that was
okay.
what the
I-
constable's item was.
Yes,
wasn't it?
and I think typically you have a policy that says that they have a shelf life of, for whatever department. Some departments use them longer than DPS. They just need to be in workable condition. They need to be tuned appropriately so and Dustin and I had this conversation yesterday. Before every shift, you have to calibrate it. Make sure that it's working. If it's not, it has to come out of service right away. So
Training involved in the use of them, there's a lot that goes into it.
So before, we probably just need to get a policy about moving forward and reassigning these to different areas to make sure that they still have a little bit of useful life. So, okay. Any other discussion or comments? Need a motion to approve M7?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Constable?
M9, authorization of refund request for overpayment of real estate taxes under Section 31.11A of the Texas Property Tax Code. Tax Office has submitted a letter requesting the refund of the overpayment of the taxes. Those two are listed in your packet. And if there are any additional questions, I can try to answer those.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dustin, just one moment here.
Yes, sir.
Constable, yours was deferred today. I think that there's some discussion that needs to be had about probably a policy with the court moving forward on that, so it'll be on the 21st agenda.
All right,
Okay?
thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, Dustin, go ahead.
M11, discussion and or action regarding approval of excused time by departments and setting guidelines for future use. Francis, did you want to cover this?
I can just give a little background. So whenever an office, closes early or excused time is given for whatever reason, that's a decision that has to be made by the elected official. So on timesheets, if there is that time that is marked on the timesheet, we also require something in writing, an email from the elected official allowing that time, how many hours and what for. And so the question was brought up, for departments that don't have an elected official there in their office that fall under Commissioner's Court. So, of course, we have a handful of those departments that answer to you as a body. How do we want to move forward when that occurs? Because of course, usually that decision is made that day. And then of course, the Commissioner's Court doesn't meet every day. So I think just for discussion and try to figure out how we want to go forward with that, especially with Christmas coming up.
Personally, my understanding is there are offices that the day before a holiday might try to close at 2 o'clock or at lunch. As long as it doesn't impose a issue to the public coming in to use the services of that department, I'm not going to be opposed to allowing a certain amount of time to be used for that.
Like a cutoff time or something like that?
I think, I don't think it can be abused, but I certainly understand why some of the staff would choose to, or some of our department heads would choose to do this. Any other comments, questions?
Does an employee have to take time, or can it be excused leave?
I think it's, the way it's being presented to us, and correct me if I'm wrong, Francis, is an excused leave.
Yes, yes. So, if they just wanted to take, of course, extra hours vacation, that's
Nothing we can do about that.
excuse time.
Are you saying that after the fact, we need to validate this, or is it possible to validate it, or is it?
Or approved before.
Or approved before,
So-
'cause that's not always possible before.
I know. And so I think, if you get into approving it after, if you disagree with the hour that office closed, then those employees we would need to change that excuse time to some sort of leave time. But, if something is decided before, then of course that's best possible solution. But like you said, that's not always the case.
I could see where a particular day, everything's done, there's nothing happening, it's, right before a holiday and it's slowed down, they say, all right, if, no one's coming in, so we're gonna shut down early. That's not possible to know beforehand, so I don't even know if it's necessary to validate it. I think we just have to monitor it and see that it's, like Mr. Perry said, it's not abused.
Yeah,
certainly
okay.
doesn't-
To kind of give them parameters.
Right, or a parameter, or just a report of what actually is happening, so that we can monitor the situation.
And I would probably say no earlier than the lunch hour.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so no more than 4 hours.
Right, and
Okay.
you can't inconvenience the public in any form or fashion. I think that's another,
Yeah.
and I hate that because I know what that does to the tax office, but I'm sure they can figure out a way to use
Reward
the
their
skeleton staff for the afternoon.
Yeah.
But, Dustin, is this something that we probably should make a small policy over it and present it?
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna, it's of course different for elected officials. The
Yes.
elected officials set the open and closing time for their office, and that's outside of Commissioner's Court's purview. And so this is really just limited to the departments that report directly to the court.
Correct.
About 9 of them, like IT, HR, building maintenance. I think there was some type of statement from the courts so that they do know what they're operating within.
So we're comfortable with no earlier than the lunch hour?
Right.
And if the services you provide, if it can pose an inconvenience to the public, then you have to keep a skeleton crew in
Yes.
to the end of the day to make sure no one's inconvenienced.
Okay.
And then what we can do, since Christmas is coming up on us quickly, is that then the agenda following that holiday period, we could bring you a list, and then y'all could approve those so that we could attach that for documentation for time entry purposes.
Okay.
Does everybody agree?
I'm good.
Good deal. Thank you.
All right. Dustin, how do we need to frame a motion that reflects the comments that were shared here?
I think that would be good if we could, state no earlier than lunchtime, and that if it's not going to impose, put any restrictions on taxpayers visiting those offices, and that we will then follow up with a listing to be approved by the commissioners on the following agenda. I think that would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no more than 4 hours.
Okay. So I will try and frame that up. So I need
Okay.
a motion that would allow the department heads to use no more than 4 hours of time the day before a holiday to close their office down. If it inconveniences the public or they serve a interest to the public, they need to keep a skeleton crew in place to provide service for anyone that might come in the afternoon. And then a report following the holiday will be presented to the court for approval.
Second.
A motion is second. We have any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, dropping down to item P, McLennan County Radio Tower Project. P1 is authorization of quote from Waukesha Pierce Industries for a diesel generator. Ken?
Yeah, I'm wanting to keep the court informed. for Road and Bridge Precinct 4, we need a generator. I got this quote. It took me several weeks to get this quote from Waukesha Pierce, where we've gotten the previous generators. Quote amount is $32,325. And again, I want to point out, I said this in my report, that it's going to be like 16 to 18 weeks to receive this. But again, it's like the ones that we bought previously. Well, and basically letting Francis know more charges against the tower project.
Okay. Anybody have questions or comments?
Turbocharged 4-cylinder, 4.5 liter engine sound like a drag racer.
Yes, sir.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll
If
move
we-
down to, go ahead, Dustin, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. If we could go back up to item H12A, that was the BIS digital for the Commissioner's courtroom audio video recording system. Lisa has reached out, and we thought we would be able to use, we no longer utilize BIS in the Commissioner's courtroom, and I thought we could utilize it at the base for the jury trials. That is not happening. So we actually no longer need the technical support on this one. So we can, I guess, just rescind that action on H12A, and it is okay to let it lapse. Is that correct, Lisa?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. Can I get a motion to rescind H12A?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to rescind H12A. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And at this time, we have work session items under Q1. It came in your packet. If you have any questions or comments, get with Dustin or with our contractor that handles that. Dustin, is there anything else?
Yeah, Commissioner, I know we skipped around a lot, so if Mercedes or Reagan just confirms that we hit all the action items, we should be good.
Mercedes says we're good. Reagan? All right, we're 2 for 2. We're good. Anything else that need to come before the court?
Well, I was gonna ask, Dustin, did you get that email from me?
Yes, ma'am, and I had sent it over. IT should have it, and if not, I can screen share. Did IT, Tim or Chance, did y'all receive it?
And all I wanted to do, just piggybacking on what Commissioner Smith said at the opening of the meeting, and that is that there will be an 80th anniversary commemoration ceremony today at the Doris Miller Memorial. Come back down. They don't need to see the program, just the flyer. At 11:55, which in Hawaiian time is 7:55, and that's the exact time that the attack started. So there will be a program in commemoration sponsored by Cultural Arts of Waco today at the Doris Miller Memorial at 11:55, if anyone was interested.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I think that's good to be noted. Anything else to come before the court? Hearing none, we will be adjourned at this time.